Hi, welcome back to Guitar Geekorama. Right, last episode, episode 3, we looked at the E minor pentatonic scale. We're going to zoom in on that a little bit and look at ways of making it sound musical. Let's jump straight into that. Okay, remember in our scale shape, it's here. Okay, or we could do it the other way. Now hopefully you've used some of the backing tracks and gotten pretty used to that shape, and your fingers are getting fairly comfortable running up and down through that scale. Now a scale is just a starting point. It's not really going to give you much musical use unless you apply a little bit of your own personal taste to the way that you use the scale. I'm going to show you a couple of tricks, a couple of concepts that you can use just to get started on soloing straight away. It's important to note that there's not actually that much difference between what you're doing and what a really famous guitar player might be doing. It's just experience and the fact that they've spent time sitting there getting used to the scale and trying to get something musical out of it. So let's look at a couple of cheats that you can use really early on to try and get a musical sense out of the scale. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to narrow my options so that I can be more creative with each set of notes. Okay, I'm going to look at the middle two strings. That's the D string and the G string. And I'm going to look at the 4 notes from the scale that belong around those 2 strings. That is just those 4 notes there. So what we've got there is a pattern. Could run it from the low notes to the high notes or the high notes to the low notes. I could run it in a circle or backwards in a circle, diagonally or the other way. The point is, any kind of pattern doesn't really matter. What we can do with those 4 notes is get a whole series of different expressions. One of the other things I can do, I'm not limited to playing one hit on each note. I could grab lots of notes from it. So, for example, or I could put gaps in there. I could repeat the phrase. Any kind of thing that I can imagine. Now, one of the things we can do is then break those phrases or those sets of notes across different strings. So if we jump up to, for example, to the B and the E string, we're going to find these 4 notes. The open 3rd fret on the B string, the open string, and the 3rd fret on the E string. And again, we could apply the same logic. Round in a circle, backwards in a circle. Any variation you can think of. But what I'm going to think of for now is that there's 2 voices happening. There's the middle 2 string voice, and that's one person or one character talking, and then there's the upper 2 strings, and that's another voice talking. Let's make them have a conversation. We'll do this over the backing track so it makes a bit more sense and hopefully sounds a bit more musical. Okay, so that's a little bit silly, but you can almost imagine that those 2 sets of strings are having a conversation. Okay, another thing that I like to do sometimes is just think of a kind of a punctuation mark to each phrase. So, for example, I'm going to use this note at the end of every phrase. Let's give it a try. Here we go. That doesn't really matter, you don't have to use that note, you could use any note you wanted, but what you are doing is you're thinking about something while you're playing, and it's a musical idea, not just the scale making you choose which notes to play. We're using the scale as a starting point. Okay, let's have a little try at that idea. See if you can copy some of my phrases exactly. I'll keep it nice and easy, and I'll play it, and then I'll give you a chance to copy what I'm doing. Here we go. Your turn. Let's do the same phrase, but down on the middle two strings. Here we go. Give it a try. Let's put those two together. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. You try. Again. One more time. Go back to full speed, here we go. Your turn. Okay, what we've looked at today is just the very beginnings, the very early building blocks for ideas of soloing on the guitar. If you jump to the next episode, you're going to see some more expressive ideas, ways of getting different things out of the notes that we're using, and different ways of attacking and playing the notes. We're also going to move this scale out of this position into another position, which will make it sound fairly different and a bit more interesting possibly. Okay, before you jump onto the next episode, do take a little bit of a while and go over these ideas a couple of times. Make sure that you can move your fingers around quite comfortably, and also while you're at it, please click like and subscribe, and follow the links to Eldritch guitars and also to our other episodes as well, and back to the website too. Alright, keep playing.